There comes a quiet moment in every Cancer's journey, when the ocean within them, once still and hushed, starts to stir again. You've walked through storms of memory. You've cradled your heart through the ache of longing. You've learned how to hold silence, not as a prison, but as a place of power. And now, something is shifting. The tide is returning not with a roar, but with a whisper. You begin to feel a gentle current inside you, pulling you forward, urging you to open just one window and let in the light. In tarot, this moment is like drawing the star, a symbol of renewal after the fall, a flicker of hope glowing in the aftermath of your deepest night. This episode, dear Cancer, is not about grand revelations. It's about the soft return, the quiet reawakening. It's about the part of you that still believes in love, even after being shattered by it. So, take a breath with me. Sink into this softness. Let's explore together what it means for a heart like yours to rise again, gently and wisely. Imagine this. You're standing beneath a night sky, barefoot, heart open, and above you, there it is, a single star pulsing softly in the velvet dark. This is not a firework. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention. But it stays. It stays when everything else has gone quiet. For you, Cancer, this star is not out there. It's in you. It's the part of you that still glows, even after all the tears, all the goodbyes, all the seasons of retreat. The Tarot's star card tells a sacred truth. Healing doesn't always come in waves. Sometimes it comes in drops. One honest tear, one true breath, one moment where you don't turn away from your own reflection. You are not starting over. You are continuing. With more softness, more honesty, and far more courage than you had before. This is your emotional rebirth. Not loud, not rushed, but steady, sovereign, sacred. And in this space, you are not broken. You are becoming. Let the light of that star guide you inward. You don't have to see the whole path, just the next gentle step. Now the star fades, and the moon rises. But this moon is not here to clarify. It's here to mystify, to stir, to awaken the waters inside you that you've tried so hard to keep still. Cancer, ruled by the moon herself, you know this terrain well. You've walked its edges, between dream and doubt, between memory and hope. And still, when the moon appears, you hesitate, because she does not offer answers. She offers invitations. An invitation to walk through shadows, to listen to the whispers of your own intuition, to surrender logic, and let your emotional compass guide you through the fog. You see, this is not confusion, it's initiation. The fears you're feeling now, they are old echoes. And the path ahead, it's not blocked. It's just not fully lit yet. But you, dear Cancer, you were never meant to move in straight lines. You move in currents, in cycles, in feelings too deep to explain. The moon says, trust your tides, even when they pull you inward, even when no one else understands, because something within you, ancient, intuitive, and beautifully wild, already knows the way. There are moments, Cancer, when your silence says more than words ever could, when you pull back, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. The world often misunderstands this. They think you're retreating, they assume you're hiding. But really, you're listening to the shifts in energy, to the subtleties others miss, to the truth between the lines. This is your strength, the ability to pause when others rush, to feel when others numb, to reflect when others react. And in that sacred silence, you recalibrate, you restore, you decide quietly, gently what deserves your energy. Because you've learned something powerful. Not everything needs your response. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every invitation requires a yes. There's a quiet kind of courage in choosing peace over performance. So when the world grows loud and expectations pull at you from every angle, remember this. Silence is not your weakness. It is your sanctuary. It is where your truest voice begins. There were people, Cancer, who claimed they knew you, but never truly saw you. They praised your kindness, but overlooked the weight you carried behind your smiles. They admired your support, but ignored the way your heart quietly broke, just to keep them whole. You gave so much of yourself, thinking maybe if I love enough, they'll understand me. But instead, they just kept taking, and misunderstanding, and minimizing your depth. Some people didn't see the storm you held back, to keep the peace. They didn't see how hard it was to hold your own pain while healing theirs. And maybe the worst part? You started believing that being unseen was your fault. That if only you were quieter, or easier, or a little more like them, they would finally notice you. But here's the truth. They never saw the real you. Not because you were hiding, but because they weren't ready to meet someone as real as you. Someone who loves without limits, who listens without judgment, who gives even when they're running on empty. They weren't ready for that kind of depth. But that doesn't mean you were too much. It means they weren't enough to hold someone like you. Cancer, after everything fell apart, after the betrayal, the exhaustion, the disappointment, you didn't announce your healing. You didn't post it online. You didn't shout it from rooftops. You simply began again, quietly, gently, piece by piece. You started by reclaiming mornings, by choosing peace over pressure, by breathing deeper than the panic, by giving yourself permission to say no, to protect your energy, instead of pleasing everyone else. You let yourself grieve, not just people, but the dreams you once held with them, and still, you watered your soul. You touched old scars with new softness. You redefined what safety means, not in others, but in yourself. This part of your story wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It wasn't about revenge or proving your worth. It was about choosing yourself for the first time in a long time, without guilt, without apology. It was about remembering that you are allowed to be whole without anyone else's permission, that you don't need to be needed to be valuable. You just need to be true to your rhythm, your rest, your rising. The rebuild isn't loud, Cancer, but it's holy, and it's yours. Cancer, what no one tells you about healing is that the hardest part isn't surviving the pain. It's letting yourself feel soft again after the pain has hardened you. Because once you've built walls to protect your heart, it takes courage to open the window, to let light in. You've learned how to guard yourself, to stay silent instead of vulnerable, to anticipate disappointment before hope can even knock. But now, in this quiet chapter, something unexpected is stirring. The softness is returning. Not weakness, not naivete, but the gentle kind of strength that chooses to hope again, even knowing what it cost the first time. You find yourself smiling at small things again. The way tea warms your chest, the way a certain song feels like home, the way someone's laugh reaches you before you're ready to be reached. You're not rushing it. You're not forcing trust. But you're starting to believe that maybe not everyone wants to hurt you. And more importantly, you're realizing that even if they do, you will survive it. Again, stronger, softer. Cancer. This part of the journey isn't about building new armor. It's about putting down the sword so you can finally hold someone's hand. It's about letting love approach slowly, gently, with respect for everything you've endured. You don't need to explain why you flinch. The right people will stay long enough for your softness to feel safe again. Let it return, Cancer. You've earned it. There's a moment, so quiet, you almost miss it, when your heart begins to trust again, not all at once, not loudly, but in tiny trembling pulses that whisper, maybe I can feel again, maybe I'm safe. Cancer, you have spent so long doubting the intentions of others, reading between lines, searching for exits in every room, bracing for the moment when someone might leave, or worse, betray. But now, a shift. You hear someone speak with honesty, and you don't question it. You share a small piece of your story, and you don't regret it. You look in someone's eyes, And instead of scanning for danger, you simply stay. It's terrifying, and yet it's also beautiful. Because to trust again after heartbreak is not naive. It's sacred. It means your heart, despite all it has endured, still wants to believe, still aches for connection, still dreams of being seen, not for the armor you wear, but for the soul underneath. And the tarot reminds us, when the Three of Cups appears, there is celebration, support, friendship that feels like safety. This card doesn't promise that all wounds are healed, but it shows that healing happens faster when we allow others to walk beside us. So, dear Cancer, if your heart has begun to trust again, even just a little, don't run from that. Let it grow. Let it unfold slowly, like petals opening after a long, harsh winter. You are allowed to trust. You are allowed to be loved without caution. You are allowed to feel joy again, without fearing the cost. Let your heart lean forward. Let it risk the warmth. There's a strange thing that happens, Cancer. When love finally finds you, real love, gentle, attentiva, steady, the kind you've always longed for, but quietly doubted could last. You don't always know how to hold it. Not because you're ungrateful, but because your heart still remembers all the times love arrived with conditions or walked away when you needed it most. So when someone shows up now, truly shows up, you might shrink. You might say, I don't want to be a burden. I'm too much. I'm sorry I need this. But dear Cancer, you are not too much. You are not too needy. You are a garden of depth, and anyone lucky enough to step inside should be prepared to tend it with care. The courage now is not just in loving. It's in receiving love without apology, without explaining away your feelings, without hiding your longing for closeness. To receive love is an act of bravery for someone who's been hurt. To believe that you're worthy of it without having to earn it or shrink yourself for it, that is your quiet revolution. And when the Six of Pentacles appears in the tarot, it speaks of balance, of giving and receiving in harmony. It's a reminder, you are not meant to pour endlessly without ever being poured into. So open your hands, Cancer. Not clenched, not guarded, but open. Say yes when someone wants to hold you. Say thank you when kindness comes. And above all, say to yourself, I am allowed to be loved exactly as I am. You don't have to shrink to be held. You just have to stay soft and stay. And now, dear Cancer, after all the storms, after all the walls you built and slowly took down, after all the searching for safety in others, what if, just for a moment, you turned inward and found that the home you've been seeking was always inside you? This is not about solitude. It's about sanctuary. It's about recognizing that your inner world, so often called too sensitive, is not a weakness, but a sacred temple. Your feelings are not obstacles. They are compass needles. Your longing isn't emptiness. It's your soul calling you home. And maybe all the people you've loved, all the ones who've left, stayed, hurt you, or healed you, were simply reflections, mirrors, showing you where the cracks were so you could seal them with gentleness. The Hermit card appears now, not to isolate you, but to invite you back to your core. This is your time to rest, to listen, to stop running from yourself. You are not broken. You are becoming, layer by layer, grief by grace. You are shaping a life that feels like truth. And the truest thing is this: you are the home. You are the light. You are the steady beat in the chaos. And no one can take that from you. So take one hand and place it over your heart. Feel it? It's still beating, still trying, still here. Let that be your reminder. Even in your kiddiest moments, you are never lost. You are only returning.